Hey, this is Nick from Pnau. You're listening to Release with DJ Reelax. Have a good one.
The number you have reached has been disconnected. The new number is...
The phone booth.
All right, here we go in the phone booth on Release. It's a great pleasure to welcome back a very talented man, one half of Pnau, Mr. Nick Lamore or Littlemore. How are you, sir?
I'm very well.
Good to have you here. Good to have you back in the phone booth. We've got you as you're about to head back to Australia to do a string of another tour around Australia for a string of summer festivals, and it seems to be a bit of an environment you guys seem to relish in these days, yeah?
Yeah, man, the festivals are great because you have people there who are already having fun, and we just like to come in at that level and really just blow the roof off the place.
You've certainly left a mark over, I think, your years of doing them, as we said, around the country. This time it's coming back on the back of course, number 4 album for you guys, Soft Universe, which dropped earlier this year, which has actually been 4 years since your last album. But I guess it feels pretty much so with your self-titled album last year that really was the arrival or the start for Pnau. Is that how you guys have seen it? And this is really sort of the next sort of embarkment?
Yeah. I mean, this to me feels like a band now, this record, you know? So it feels like a different entity than it has been. It feels like the first 3 records were building up to Pnau, and then this one is like a new kind of journey that, you know, that we've taken as, dare I say it, adults.
Look out. Also, last time we spoke, your brother gave us the inside word on you losing some teeth against a microphone back in your crazy heyday. Is that no longer you're part of the routine?
Yeah, man, I'm like, I look after myself now, you know, like, different story now. It's good.
It's good to hear. Now, going back to the live thing, we are talking to Nick Littlemore from Pnau, about to come down for a string of dates around the country, as we said, and with what is now, I think it's a 5-piece band you're doing live, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Great. And how was that, pulling that together, I guess, from this birthing concept from, from you and Pete to this? Was it...
Yeah, it was super organic. You know, there was a guy from South Australia that had been working in England, a friend of mine. He played a bunch of the acoustics on the album. He was available to take on the road. So we grabbed him. He's playing in Ryan Bingham's band, In Between Oust, which is...
Great.
This big songwriter in the States who did the soundtrack to Crazy Heart, if you saw it, that film.
Yep. Who's that? Sorry,
Ryan Bingham. The kid's name's Liam Gurner.
Right.
He's a songwriter. So that was very natural. And then the drummer, we met through a friend, and Gwenno just popped up one day. Who's doing keyboards and BVs, and she also takes the stage for Embrace, which is super cool to have someone doing that. You know.
Absolutely. And I guess on this, the difference too, I guess, taking this on tour and with this album, Soft Universe, compared to Pnau, you sing on every song, that's right? It's a bit more of a personal album for you, so that, I guess, is a more endeavour for you on every tour and performance now. Yeah,
it's a lot more intense in that way. I think it was just generally intense in a colourful way before, but, you know, like getting up there and singing for, an hour and 90 minutes, it's a pretty full-on thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do enjoy it a lot, you know. I think I really do it for those nights that, you know, the light hits you in that weird way, and maybe it looks like you catch on fire, or, you know, you're dancing with some kind of spirit in your eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's why we all do it, really.
And you talked at the beginning about the vibe, the great vibe on a festival where everyone is just primed and ready to just enjoy themselves. And how are you finding, I guess, with the some of the sadness and the underlying tones within this album, and taking that on a live performance and translating that to people that are set there to explode, so to speak?
Well, I mean, it definitely has revelatory moments in the music. The most important thing, I think, you know, when we play it live, is that we conjure these spirits up, but it's really like a celebration of joy, you know. So it's much the same as it was when we didn't have maybe, like a prophet standing up there leading, the people down a certain way. But now, we have the ability really to transcend.
We are talking to Nick Littlemore in the phone booth. It's a great pleasure to have him back. I guess much has been said with your great mentor that was sort of a very, I guess, a big part of this album for Soft Universe as well. Elton John, I believe, would have been quite a daunting task to take your tracks to Elton to get them critiqued, and I guess these have all gotten the approvals, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty organic, you know. I never really felt nervous playing him stuff because we knew he liked. So every time we go around to his house, he's playing like the hottest club music.
Right.
So, like, well, I learn more about young artists from him than I do myself, you know. So playing music to him, it was cool, you know. And he played them super loud, which is great.
So did you get your dance on every time in?
And he'd be singing the choruses second, you know, on the repeats because he picks stuff up so quick. So.
Yeah, great. Great stuff, mate. We do wish you well with the next part of the journey in this album, Soft Universe, and of course the tour. Must be fun to get back home for the summer period as well, I'm sure, to catch up with family and friends and enjoy in the glorious weather we've got going on down here.
Yeah. Because I get out of winter here, it'll be beautiful.
I bet. But mate, before we go, we always like to ask our guests if they can pick something on the show. And we were talking before last time we spoke, you were lamenting some great times up the Hawkesbury River with some friends. You were just back from that, and you put Brian Eno in the mix, which is a classic, great song now for us. What have you got in mind for us tonight?
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Raichi Sakamoto.
All right, here it is.
From the film. It's I listened to it a lot. I just went through my iTunes to work out what the most played song was, and that's in the thousands.
Wow.
I guess that's probably a big part of my life.
Absolutely. Well, here it is, picked by Nick Middlemore from Pnau on release.
For more, head to djrelax.com.